So we all think we know the story of Faust, right? Guy sells his soul to the devil. Simple. But what if the bargain wasn't about personal power, but for progress? Today we're going to dive into Henoch, this incredible reinterpretation of the Faust legend, but set against the backdrop of the machine age. And right away, this just nails the core difference. See, the classic Faustian deal was a personal tragedy. It was about his soul. Henoch's bargain, though, is a collective one. He doesn't just damn himself, he sells our whole world on the promise of a better future. All right, so, a Faust for the machine, a Prussian tragedy. We're not dealing with hellfire and brimstone here. This is framed as a Prussian tragedy. And that's the perfect allegory for relentless, unchecked industrial ambition. You know, that whole ethos of discipline, order, and mechanical power.
Now this is what makes Henoch so fascinating. He's not some cackling villain looking for personal gain. No, he's driven by something way more dangerous, a totally misplaced and ultimately catastrophic sense of moral duty. He actually believes he's the good guy.
Okay, the scientist's noble ambition, the ethical visionary. This sense of righteous purpose is absolutely everything to him. He doesn't look in the mirror and see a sinner making a deal with the devil. In his own mind, he's a noble scientist, an ethical visionary on a mission to save humanity from itself.
He even comes up with a title for himself, the ethical scientist. And this is the core of his whole self-deception. He sees this whole quest not as a sin, but as a grand negotiation. He's using forbidden knowledge as a bargaining chip for the good of everyone. The hubris, it's just off the charts.
This quote pretty much sums up his entire philosophy. And the key words there are artificial means. Henoch has zero interest in working with the natural world. He's completely obsessed with replacing it, with improving it through sheer force of technology and intellect.
So let's talk about the gears of truth and the price of knowledge. You have to wonder, what is this forbidden knowledge he's so desperate to get his hands on? What truth is worth the price he's willing to pay? Well, it is not what you might expect from a story like this.
The magic in this story, what they call the fallen angel's revelations, is really just a direct metaphor for modern industrial tech. The forbidden truths aren't about conjuring demons. They're about building engines and understanding the cold, mechanical laws that run the universe.
And just look at what this knowledge is. Astronomy, for cosmic order and navigation. Metallurgy, I mean, that's the absolute heart of industry. And magic is just a stand-in for the almost supernatural power of applied science. These aren't arcane spells, they're literally the blueprints for an industrial world.
Now for corrupting the human spark and the tragedy of Sophia. Every revolution has a human cost, and Henoch's is no different. The price of his ambition gets paid by one single character who represents all of us, the tragic figure of Sophia.
Sophia is this story's Gretchen figure. You know, the innocent soul who crosses the hero's path. But symbolically, she's way more than that. She represents the natural, organic, pre-industrial human state. She is humanity before the machine. And this is where Henoch's good intentions turn straight up toxic. He doesn't see himself as corrupting Sophia. In his mind, he's elevating her by gifting her this revolutionary knowledge. He is completely blind to the fact that he's destroying her very essence. Here you can see the fundamental clash. On one side, you've got the divine spark. That's humanity's natural, intuitive, organic state. On the other side, the gears of the universe, the cold, hard, technological truth that Henoch champions. And the two are just utterly, tragically incompatible.
So Sophia's fall isn't a moral failing or a simple story of seduction. It's almost a clinical process. Step 1, she's exposed to his industrial truths. Step 2, that knowledge proves to be like poison to her natural spirit. And the result isn't just sadness, it's total catastrophe, a direct consequence of his forbidden wisdom.
So what happened to Sophia? That was just a preview. It was a microcosm of what's about to happen to the entire world. Her fate is a warning of a global cataclysm, the forging of what the story calls the Iron Heaven. The end result of Henoch's grand project isn't just one person's tragedy. His relentless pursuit of this tech science leads to the complete and total destruction of the natural order. The old world, it's just gone, erased.
And what rises from the ashes? The Nephilim. But in this story, they aren't mythical creatures. They are artificial giants, the aristocracy of iron. They're the titans of industry, the faceless corporations, the massive engines of war that his knowledge has unleashed.
This is the world Henoch creates in the end, an iron heaven, where everything organic, including humanity's divine spark, has been systematically pushed aside by the cold, efficient, and lifeless logic of the machine.
And this quote is the final, damning verdict. He was searching for enlightenment for everyone, a world free from suffering. But the forbidden science he pushed didn't lead to utopia. It led to the rise of a cold, artificial power that just consumed everything in its path. Which leaves us with a pretty unsettling question, one that's still incredibly relevant. Henoch's story is a powerful allegory that forces us to ask ourselves, in our own relentless quest for progress, for efficiency, for technological solutions, what is the price we're paying? What divine sparks are we at risk of snuffing out?